Welcome back to Biohacking Beauty, the podcast where science meets skincare, and we dive deep into protocols that actually deliver results, not just marketing. Anyway, my name is Amitai Eshel, CEO and co-founder of Young Goose Skincare, and I'm joined today by my brilliant co-founder and partner, Anastasia Khojaeva.
Hi, everyone. I'm really excited for today's episode because we're talking about something that goes beyond skincare ingredients. Imagine this. What if the reason your skin isn't regenerating or glowing the way it used to isn't because you're missing a serum, but because your cells are running low on energy?
Exactly. We're talking about NAD, a molecule that we're talking a lot about. We were the pioneers of this molecule in skincare. It's a molecule that's essential for energy production, DNA repair, and overall skin vitality. So while, let's say, IV drips and supplements can get a lot of attention, the truth is the right topical protocol may actually outperform them when it comes to skin-specific results.
By the end of this episode, we'll share a practical routine that combines fasting, targeted topicals, and lifestyle upgrades to help restore your skin's resilience and improve its appearance. And just a quick note, listeners get 10% off products at younggoose.com with the promo code podcast10. Before we start, though, I'd like to read the listener's review and provide an answer to a question that was asked in the review.
All right, let's do it.
I'm
I'm also supposed to do it. The listeners just don't know that Chelsea, shout out to Chelsea, the podcast editor. She wants me to do it every time. I just don't do it.
Yes, but Amitai is too shy. He thinks it's bragging, but it's not.
Well, technically, okay.
Okay, so here's the review. I really enjoy all of the Young Goose podcast. This solo episode was especially great. Please let me know if there are any Young Goose product specialists in the Orange County, California. And then there's a zip code provided. So the zip code was 92688. And we actually have a couple of providers in the area. Some are closer, some are further away. But for all of you listeners in California, we provided a couple of options. So there is Biohacking Beauty by Rachel Aquino, and that's in Los Angeles, California, and that's 330 West 11th Street, Suite 408. Then there is also Lisa Blue Beauty by Lisa Blue, and that's on the 15 Tiremia Drive in Dana Point, California, which is very close to the person who wrote the review. And there is also Rest Studios by Dr. Erica Klemper, and that's in Santa Barbara, California. So,
shout out to Erica Klemper, Dr. Erica Klemper. First of all, Rest Studios, and she has also Wellderm.
Yes, but I think she's now, she rebranded to the Rest Studios, and I think that's the one that she has now.
Okay, cool.
So just in case you guys want to grab the exact address, it's 1187 Coast Village Road.
Okay.
So we have, and the reason this question was asked, on my solo episode, I was talking about our professional pills and that you can get them through providers, and these are some of them in California. So thank you for liking the podcast and leaving the review. And if any one of you listeners have any question, please leave it in the review, and we'll get back to you in the next podcast episode.
Yeah, but listen, guys, don't all start asking, giving us your zip code and asking for providers. Actually, if you want to reach out to service@younggoose.com, you're going to get like the best answer as far as that is concerned. But let's get into it. Yeah, let's get into it. Let's start by understanding what's actually happening when your skin begins to dull, heal slower, and show fine lines, maybe pigmentation, even when you're using, high quality products.
Yeah. Well, the key issue is cellular energy decline. Around your late 20s or early 30s, your body's NAD+ levels begin to drop. By midlife, you're likely lost around 50% of those NAD+ reservoir. So this means your skin's mitochondria can't generate enough ATP to support regeneration and repair. So unrepaired damage starts to accumulate.
Yeah, and we always say aging is the accumulation of unrepaired damage. But it's not only so. There are like two things here, right? There is what's happening inside the body, but also what's happening outside, what we're exposed to and how that affects it. So things, for example, like UV radiation, pollution, heavy metals, even non-native EMFs, they all accelerate this buzzword that I think actually doesn't get enough credit, which is oxidative stress.
I thought you were going to say inflammaging.
Yeah, inflammation is definitely a buzzword, but at the core of inflammaging, the core inflammation is this stress molecule called oxidative stress.
Absolutely.
Or free radicals. It's interchangeable. And
I actually feel like the free radicals and battling free radicals and battling oxidative stress, to me, that's the overused kind of claim all skincare kind of seems to address. That's it is to me. Like whenever you look at any skincare, pharmacy grade or medical grade,
I think what's overused is comparing everything to vitamin C. It's like 10,000 times stronger than vitamin C.
well,
Anyway, so the accumulation of stress in the form of oxidative stress in the skin or free radicals, this leads to accelerated aging, whether it's forms of accelerated aging like, collagen degradation, mitochondrial function, which we mentioned, but also accumulation of what are called like senescent cells or zombie cells, which actively contribute to that breakdown of collagen, elastin, inflammation, all of those things.
Yeah. Well, at the cellular level, low NAD plus disrupts multiple critical processes, like you mentioned. So definitely DNA repair via enzymes like PARPs is impaired, or sirtuins, they're key longevity regulators, they're less active. So there's also epigenetic damage accumulating, which accelerates visible aging. So definitely NAD plus is crucial to all these processes.
Yeah. And this is, I think, and to your point, the point that you made before, where the antioxidants are really kind of emphasized in skincare. I feel maybe that was a fad like maybe 5-10 years ago, but it didn't come out of thin air. It is correct that we want really good antioxidants and oxidative stress defense. But I think people, what you're saying is often missed, is the other part of it, is like, why do we want to combat them? It's because of the DNA damage and everything that epigenetic changes that you mentioned. People focus, or mainstream skincare is focusing on, topical antioxidants, which can help to an extent, but without addressing the underlying NAD depletion issue, the results of that combating oxidative stress are extremely, extremely limited, both in, where and time. That you resolve whatever oxidative load you're meeting at the moment, but your body is still stressed by the overall inflammation and oxidative stress.
Yeah. And then like you said, you without the sufficient NAD, you just can't meet the demand that's put on you for repair.
Yeah.
So if you're wondering how to assess your own NAD plus health, there are a couple of ways. So one, definitely a professional lab test. So this provides the most accurate results, typically involving a blood sample drawn by a healthcare provider and sent to the lab for analysis. Then there are also multiple ways of testing for this at home. So there are at-home testing kits. These offer convenience by allowing you to collect a dry blood spot or saliva sample and mail it to the lab analysis. And spoiler alert, we already talked about it in a couple of podcast episodes. As soon as next month, you will be able to get your hands on the metabolomics test by Young Goose that we talked about, where you can assess NAD plus levels and other critical biomarkers for skin health. And that also can be done through our providers.
That's it. I'm telling you, all the questions are going to be about. Here's my
You
zip
know
code.
what? We need those reviews, and you guys send those the questions, and we'll get back to you. We'll get back to you.
You can just give us 5 stars and leave a zip code. We'll do the rest.
Okay. And thirdly, you can also monitor, like talking about going back to assessing your NAD plus health. If you don't want to do any of the costly measures like lab tests or at-home tests, you can also monitor how your skin recovers from stress. And the stress can be sun exposure, it can be chemical peels.
Microneedling?
Microneedling, yeah. So basically, the more NAD plus levels you have, obviously, the faster you're going to bounce back, the less downtime your skin will require. And versus the less NAD plus you have, the longer it takes. So you can already kind of gauge that probably you have declining levels.
Yes. Okay. What's next?
Okay, we can get specific. So, Amitai, how about you break down what NAD plus actually does for the skin?
Okay. NAD plus, or nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide.
You passed the
I passed.
organic chemistry.
One time on stage, I blanked out. And I said, adenosine triphosphate.
I think if I wake you up in your sleep, you're going to tell it to me.
Now, anyway, this is essential for more than between 400 to 600 enzymatic or cellular reactions in our body. So in skin cells, for example, it supports ATP production, which is energy production, DNA repair, defense, as we mentioned, against oxidative stress. It also activates longevity enzymes like PARPs that you mentioned and sirtuins, which they play probably the most major role in maintaining epigenetic youthfulness.
Coherency as well, yeah.
What?
Coherency.
Coherency, yes, that's correct. Or kind of youthful function, which is anything from like how we make collagen to how we maintain even our skin barrier function and reduce inflammation.
Yeah, absolutely. It even influences pigmentation by modulating CMP, signaling in melanocytes.
Cyclic AMP.
Yeah.
I haven't heard you say that since your university days.
Yeah, since my pre-med days.
Yeah.
There are some newer studies that show exogenous NAD plus application has been shown to reverse signs of photoaging by enhancing mitochondrial function.
Yeah, so basically without enough NAD, our skin's ability to produce collagen, as I mentioned, manage inflammation, maintain elasticity, maintain hydration, all of those things decline. By the way, in the case of pigmentation and hydration, for example, the fact that its ability declines can actually mean that there is kind of an overcompensation effect and you're creating hyperpigmentation, or you're creating that's less common, but very like a hyper oily skin. So that it could go kind of both ways. But at the end of the day, the skin is less coherent in its function, as you said. So you could think of NAD as the energy supply or the currency for repair and regeneration, or even that's kind of the currency for repair or the energy system in your cells. And as far as what we were talking about today is the skin cells.
Yeah. I think that really helps to paint the picture of how important NAD plus is. And like, if you're still not convinced, just like a random fact, if you don't have NAD plus in your body, you die in 10 seconds. So everybody should strive to have high levels of NAD plus. And I'd like to share some skincare tips of how you can boost your overall NAD plus naturally. So one of it is through diet. So you can eat nice and rich foods like wild salmon, poultry, avocado, fermented vegetables. You can also implement time-restricted eating. So even if you have 14 or 16 hours fasting windows that is helpful and that is significant to raise NAD plus naturally. Also, exercise. So regular physical activity, including both aerobic and resistance training, can increase NAD plus levels by stimulating NAMPT enzymes crucial for NAD plus production. Now, very important, stress management. I mean, I don't want to be another person saying,
you can
stress
always
affects...
start your own business. That is going to make it.
I know.
If you never want to experience stress,
I will mention stress management, but I won't mention sleep, because that's also like, if you have good amount of sleep, you can also boost your NAD plus levels. But I'm just not going to go there as a parent of a toddler. But with stress management, so chronic stress can deplete NAD plus levels, and practicing relaxation techniques like mindfulness, meditation, and deep breathing exercises can help manage stress and protect NAD plus levels. And so, so if you do all of the above, just monitor visible changes in the skin tone, firmness, and healing week by week. You should see a difference.
Yeah. So I want to go over, okay, so we kind of covered that, right? Like niacin-rich foods. If you want those, I mean, Google them. There are many, but that's like a cornerstone that I think we don't touch on normally when we talk about diet, because normally we say, hey, yeah, it's like a low inflammatory diet or something like that. But niacin-rich foods are a way to...
And the exercise is very important as well.
Yeah, but I'm saying like it can be a North Star of kind of food choice.
Sure.
Yeah. But I do want to mention an important detail. NAD on its own is not very bioavailable. So we talked about nutrition, but as we grow older, diet can get you so far, especially with industrialized food supply, etc. But so people resort to supplementation.
Yeah, rightfully so.
And I think what happens in the kind of longevity industry is that it goes like it expands and deflates, and in the expansion there is a lot of people are exposed to information around longevity, but there is a lot of opportunism and a lot of confusion, and then people don't get the right information, if you would, right? And
we are here to cut through the noise.
And stuff like that, and everything that we say in the beginning.
Give people the right information.
But yes, that's true. And
is true.
Yes, that's what we're doing here. But it's important to understand that NAD is a code word mainly for an eventual process that would lead to NAD in your body. Okay? So I just want to say that the NAD molecule on its own has a very low bioavailability. Doesn't matter, if it's taken orally or applied topically, it tends to degrade extremely quickly. Sorry to cut you, but even when you do an IV, it actually, your body gets flooded with that. You've passed through some of the defense mechanisms that are supposed to be in place so it doesn't get into your body in that quantity. That's not necessarily bad, but what your body does is then break it apart very quickly. And part of the reason people need to titrate their IV, and you can't just like get it all at once. You need to actually sit there for like an hour to 2 to 4 to 8, depending on the amount, is because your body needs to break it down and it doesn't feel really good.
Yeah, and that's why we're big proponents of NAD plus precursors.
Yeah.
So precursors like NMN, nicotinamide mononucleotide, or NR, nicotinamide riboside.
You passed.
Back to my organic chemistry tutoring days and biochemistry. So the precursors are much more effective, and these compounds convert into NAD plus inside your cells. However, delivery matters. So liposomal formulations can significantly enhance absorption.
Yeah, and also micronizing or nanosizing the molecules can really help. IV treatments, which I went over, They do get, as I said, they do get directly into the bloodstream. But first, they're invasive and expensive. So it's you can really do it at home. You can inject small amounts at home, but not big amounts. So, you could take orally like 1 gram. Injection is normally like 150 milligrams. Okay. An IV could be 750 milligrams. So there is a big difference there. They're expensive. They are much more expensive, gram to gram. Not even, I mean, it's 100 times more expensive. And they definitely do not target the skin. Like they definitely, the skin health element here, or the elevation of NAD in the skin is a minuscule byproduct there.
Yeah, but even if, sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, you're basically leaning towards oral supplementation versus IV for the body NAD plus levels. With skin, like you alluded, we just need topicals because
you're spoiler alert, but yes. So I think here's 2 things that are interesting.
My question, okay, let me rephrase my question.
Yes.
So there's like less spoilers. If a person is listening
You already
now,
spoiled them.
if a person is listening now,
Unspoil it, confuse them so they don't know what to believe, and then we're going to... Okay.
If I have money and I can do both IV and oral supplementation.
First of all, how did you get my money?
Oh, come on.
Okay. So you're asking, like, let's say the budget is unlimited, what would I do, or what would a person do?
What would you recommend?
To be honest, if someone had unlimited money and time, I would say IV like once a week and daily supplementation.
Got it.
That's what I would say.
And then we're reminding people that IV is about, at least like best deal you can get, like $500.
Yes.
So that's weekly $500. So that's definitely should be like unlimited budget. I mean, when I think of NAD IVs, I always think about NAD IV retreats, which we have some friends offering.
Shout out to
Katrine. But they're usually for like executives, and that's also kind of like it's a retreat. So the people with the means for it, they fly in, they get the IVs, they get their bodies kind of reset, reboot. But it's also like they're meeting, they're connecting. It's less about like the daily maintenance and so that's what I wanted to kind of for our listeners to get your perspective. Like I think that if you have quality oral NAD plus supplement, you can get really good results and you don't have to resort to IVs.
Yes. And you can also be more creative as far as like pathway, because as an example, 1-MNA, which is a supplement, the specific like supplement to raise NAD, niacin and NAD precursors like NR and NMN, they all have different pathways. So technically speaking, you could alternate pathways and maybe get an accumulative like better effect. But I would do both with an unlimited budget. I would even do like injections like once a couple times a week.
I mean, and I think that's a good that's good, because then if you don't have unlimited budget, you can stick with the oral supplementation. But it's important also like that we're not like saying poo-pooing the IVs, like they're good if you can afford them.
Yes. And I would say start with oral supplementation. Like I think that would be number 1.
Got it.
But none of them, you already spoiled the alert, but none of them actually target the skin very well. This is, I think, a more in-depth discussion of what we were planning on having today, but it depends like where it gets first, and then what is the ability of that tissue to kind of degrade NAD and use it, which relies on enzymes that are doing that specifically, and that really divides per precursor or whatever.
And I think just to like already wrap up that thought, for both men and women, right? But especially for women, that was the majority of our listeners. once you're in your perimenopause or menopause, the body really unfortunately doesn't prioritize your beauty anymore. Because, unfortunately, beauty, evolutionary, is all about attracting a mate for reproduction. And once that is not an option, the body's like, okay, let's like take care of the important things. How about we take care of your brain and your liver? So when you get NAD IVs or oral supplementation, that's where this NAD plus boosting gonna go primarily to those organs, which is a good thing. We want healthy brain, we want healthy liver. But if you do wanna see NAD plus boosting primarily in your skin cells, then you have to do it topically, because that's the only way it's going to show results there.
Nice. What would you say if you had to like combine it with one other supplement to kind of compound that effect? What would I know, like it used to be for a long time, it used to be like resveratrol, right? Pterostilbene is another one. But I think this ship is a little bit sailed because bioavailability is also an issue there. Actually, topically they're great, but like orally they are not as good. So what would be one supplement which you would say gives you the best bang for your buck to combine it with?
So if I'm already taking NAD plus with other supplement, for me, I'm a minimalist, so I will do spermidine.
Yes, that's good. I'll tell you why I asked that, and I think that's the correct answer. It's because spermidine is very interesting, and that is something that we learned from our friends in Longevity Labs, or AKA Spermidine Life, is that you basically, like anything in your body, when you're introducing something exogenously from outside of the body, like NAD precursors, your body to some extent says, hey, I don't need to make as much NAD on my own. So your body actually makes the majority of the NAD that it needs. It kind of recycles it. And what they showed is that your body responds. So your body gives up significantly less on making NAD on its own if you combine the two, which is pretty cool. So you could kind of have a force multiplier here. You make your body create its own NAD, and you get NAD exogenously from NAD precursors. So I think it's a really cool combination. So I agree. I think spermidine is like the most important supplement to take with it. And again, I think to your point before, you should be tracking. Yeah, you should be tracking.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I mean, like everything, we're very bio-individual. We have our own physiology.
Yeah.
So for me, it's NAD and spermidine. That's the biggest thing I've seen for me. For somebody else, they're going to be taking NAD plus, precursors orally. And then the other biggest thing for you will be PC, phosphatidylcholine. That's your biggest one. So you just got to figure it out and track.
Yes. Or you can listen to us and just do what we do. Anyway, so
you want to talk about precursors?
I want you to double down, and I want you to tell me which NAD boosters work best or work. Right?
Okay. So let's compare what's out there.
Okay.
So the NR has shown promise for systemic energy metabolism, but its results for skin health are less research.
Okay.
And you want to talk about NMN?
Yeah, say NMN on the other hand is more direct. It's just one step less for your body to kind of interact with and make an NAD out of. And when we talk about skin health, and there is a reason why, there's more clinical support or stronger clinical support for skin-related benefits, especially when you use it topically. So I'm gonna rephrase what I said. There are two types of studies on NAD taken orally or through an IV or precursors, and then what happens to the skin. And then there is, hey, what happens if I put this precursor on the skin directly? So both cases, NMN just has stronger clinical evidence.
And that's where we're kind of leaning towards ourselves because of that.
That's correct. Yeah, potentially I think we should end up with a way to deliver as much NAD precursors to the
That's what
skin.
we're doing as well. Yeah. Okay, well, another one that's kind of buzzy is niacinamide. So niacinamide can support NAD plus in the short run, but it's actually signaling your body that it should reduce the amount of NAD plus it makes over time.
Yeah.
So that's a consideration.
It is. So that's kind of referring to what you talked about before, which is NAMPT, or it's kind of the hide to its Jekyll, NNNT, which are these two enzymes that are
Recycling
signaling.
enzymes.
What?
Recycling enzymes.
Yeah, they're kind of signaling to the body, hey, we should make more NAD or we should make less NAD. When I say make, it's kind of recycle or upcycle NAD. And niacinamide is kind of the waste material of NAD usage. So it kind of feeds a loop saying, hey, we used a lot of NAD, which builds a response to making less NAD or upcycling less NAD. So spermidine to some extent offsets that. That's true, but we still, it's still like an ineffective precursor. It's not a good precursor to use. I would say orally, we see other precursors like copper niacin, which are, or 1-MNA, which are mainly signaling upcycling rather than are like NAD boosters on their own. They're not really precursors. So companies like BioStacks are going to use copper niacin. It's called NAD3. And these are not precursors, but they are things that are signaling to your body to potentially, or stimulating your cells to potentially produce their own NAD more readily.
And I just will say that I love it that there is so much research going on into NAD boosting now, and there are so many more ways and molecules that are hitting the market, because when you and I started research back in 2017, we were like the only ones looking into it, doing it topically, and there was so little to work with because, obviously we are hiring labs and scientists to do it, but it's now for us, it's like the market is bigger, there are more options. We continuously innovate. We now have like a third generation of our NAD complex called NAD plus Apex, which I would love for you to talk more about. But it's because, thank God, the market is growing and the research is so robust, so we can make it better, and better, and more and more bioavailable, more and more effective.
Correct. Yeah, I agree with you. And even in a product that probably is going to come out in a few months, there is even a new precursor we're introducing called MN20. Spoiler alert, but anyway. So at Young Goose, we developed a complex called NAD Apex, TM.
Yes.
We got to say that. Anyway, so a topical that combines liposomal NMN with a unique sunflower extract, which activates said NAMPT, which is making your cells create more NAD on their own. It's your body's NAD recycling enzyme.
Yeah, so clinical testing of these compounds show that users experience a 15% reduction in wrinkle depth and appeared nearly 8 years younger on average over the course of 10 weeks. So as always, a lot of people always ask, how soon can I see the results? So
here you go.
Here you go. Wait at least 10 weeks to see the significant improvement. But I also always say, I think in the course of 4 weeks, you can tell if your skin loves it and responds to it. You can tell if you're in tune with your body, if you know how, and that's what we're also saying, track performance of whatever we recommend, like niacin-rich foods, incorporating into your diet or exercise. Track in the mirror how you look like to see how your body responds. But with skincare, the sales cycle is 30 days. So you got to at least wait 4 weeks for even preliminary results. But then the longer you stick with it, the more profound your results will be.
Amen. And so basically this complex is built to be applied daily. So we have it in a lot of our products now, whether it is, Youth Reset, Youth Daily, Youth Firming Neck and Chest, Ladder Serum. Shout out to the new product just coming, that I don't know when, by the time this is launched, it's already going to be out, which is Youth Firming Body Cream that is going to have it. So this is our Shout out. So this is kind of our new complex that we're unveiling. But by the way, we're continuously working on ways to innovate within NAD, and I feel like this year is going to be an incredible year of innovation.
Yeah.
And if anyone missed it, we talked about precursors, we talked about oral precursors. I would say whether it is in combination or just in general, if people are interested in the amount of NAD precursors they should take orally, I would say probably around 500 milligrams to a gram of NAD precursors per day. For example, NR or NMN would be the suggested amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to recommend to stimulate renewal as well?
Yes.
Like micro needling.
Yes. So this is important because you know what? I'll let you go. You are the.
No. Yeah, well, just obviously we kind of started out our podcast episode saying that you need NAD plus for repair and regeneration, but also a lot of the times the body doesn't know wrinkle is a problem. So if you're already somebody listening to this podcast and you already have signs of aging, and now you're supplementing on NAD plus, so there is a energy for repair regeneration, don't forget to call for this repair regeneration. Buy things like at-home microneedling, or go to get it professionally done. Go maybe for a professional chemical peel, or you can use our Niacinamide polish exfoliant for like something like a weekly maintenance. But these are the tools or the products that call for repair regeneration. And now that you've boosted your NAD plus levels, your skin tissue can respond to it and turn on those processes.
Yeah, I agree. And of course, retinol at home.
Yeah.
Bioretinol does it pretty well.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's talk about where people go wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, like first, relying on NAD orally, or like oral NAD or IVs, and expecting to see skin improvements. Your skin, again, is low on the body's priority list for those resources.
Yeah. So second mistake could be that there is a poor product quality. So many supplements are oxidized by the time they're used and consumed. And some don't use effective delivery systems, or there's not effective dosage.
Yeah.
And when I say like effective delivery systems, I refer to liposomes or nanospheres. So
I would say, there is now, people are going to start to see, they can already find supplements like that, but it's going to become a more popular form, which would be NMNH, like reduced NMN.
I already see it everywhere.
You do?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So I would remark one thing, that NMNH isn't stable above like minus 20 degrees.
Very important.
Yeah.
PSA,
so there will be forms that are going to allow it to be stable for longer. Like that was the original patent around true Niagen or NR, which before I kind of alluded to the fact that there's kind of less research around NR for different areas, but that's mainly because it was the ability to stabilize it was patented for a very long time until people found other ways to stabilize it. So NMNH, which you can buy as a precursor now, is just extremely volatile. But probably by the time you've received it, it's not probably niacinamide already, which is what it degrades to. So that's just like an example. I think it's important to always remember that NAD is a part of a much larger system. So it should be supplementing on it should be supported by nutrition, not having a 1.5-year-old child, aka getting good night's sleep, and to what we care about, skincare routines that yield enhanced NAD levels or better results or capitalize on NAD levels, all of those things.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about how we can vet the quality of supplements. So I think
Test it. I think literally taste it first.
mhm,
Like NMN, for example, or NR, by the way. NR tastes a little bit like chlorine, but NMN has a pretty mild, tangy taste. By the time it becomes degraded, which would become niacinamide, the taste is much, much, much stronger. So aside from keeping it in the fridge to make sure it lasts longer, I would break open a capsule and kind of taste it once in a while and see what's going on there. You can taste it in water. You can
Yeah.
break it into water and taste it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely one way to do that. I was also kind of referring to like broader guidelines. So such as like look for third-party testing, clinical data.
Third-party tasting.
Third-party
Bring
tasting.
someone to your house. What does this taste like?
I know. Have a sommelier of NAD plus precursors at your home. Come and do the tasting. So third-party testing. One, two. Clinical data, packaging that protects ingredients from oxidation. Liposomal and nanoformulated versions are much more effective. So those are kind of things I wanted to kind of maybe,
What do you think people shouldn't rely on?
Should not rely on? I would not rely on my sense of taste, to be honest with you. Whatever I said before about tasting chlorine
there is a lot of marketing
and the tanginess, it's not for me.
No? Okay. That's why you need third-party tasting.
That's what you tasted for me.
That's the third party. So I wouldn't rely on like marketing claims. I think marketing claims...
that's what you mean. Okay.
It's like, I always remember the TV series Mad Men, where where he said
they had brilliant
but I don't know if it's a true story or not, that it said it's Lucky Strike cigarettes, they said it's toasted, and then it's because no one else said it, but everyone toasted their tobacco, right? So marketing claims a lot of the times we'll go back to NMNH. There are claims about its efficacy, bioavailability, stuff like that, but at the end of the day, you need to remember that was at source, that was when it was fresh. There's no like testing or tasting when it's in your house. It traveled with USPS. The guy probably put it in the sun. The guy sat on it. The guy has kicked it, sicked a dog in it.
Ran it over a few times, back and forth.
Yes. And, put it in the microwave, and then that's when you get it. So, you want to look at the formulation, sourcing, published data, all of that. Marketing, I would not be a huge... And also, to be honest with you, like with NAD precursors, I wouldn't necessarily look at Amazon reviews, unless it's about like how the product was shipped. Most people don't even know how to assess a good product.
In general, I'm so averse to reviews because I go to the website.
We rely on reviews for restaurants, and that's not always our experience.
No, and there's all these ways of there's this, what are they called? Review forms where you can pay a couple of dollars, and then, I don't know, people in Bangladesh write the reviews, and you get 500 reviews for your business for $5. It's just, I can't trust it anymore, So if you go to our website and there's 29 reviews for a product, that's because they're all real. We're not paying for the reviews. We ask you to review on this podcast.
And then
that's how we get the reviews.
Just tell us, we will send you.
But, anyway, so...
I remember in conferences when people walk to the booth and would vouch for the product, I always used to tell people, the check is in the mail. And then basically there was a rumor that we pay a bunch of people to come to the booth. Anyway, I would also say track results over time, like yourselves, 30 to 90 day, testing would be what I would recommend. But let's look, what we talked about, things that you can pay in order to raise your NAD levels. Let's talk about natural ways to boost NAD.
Well, we talked about the niacin rich foods. We talked about exercise. We talked about stress management.
And what about fasting? You did mention it a little bit. I think it's
14
also
to 16-hour fasting windows are great. So fasting, high intensity interval training, sauna use. I didn't mention sauna. That's a good one. Cold plunge is also great. All of those activate the AMPK and sirtuins, those enzymes that go and repair your DNA and other processes. All of those natural ways are great. So if you're listening to this podcast and you already do all of the above, good job. If you don't, hopefully that's going to motivate you.
Yes. That said, your body prioritizes essential organs. That's important to understand. Very little NAD from, systemic methods actually reaches
Gonna show
the
up
skin.
on your skin.
Yes.
Yeah, directly. Like if you're cold plunging and you don't see your skin reverse its wrinkles.
I don't want any comments about how Wim Hof's skin looks in the comment section, okay?
Yeah, exactly. So that's a good point. Like Wim Hof is the king of cold plunging, and he doesn't have the youngest looking skin because it's, again, like you said, it doesn't show up on your skin. He might have the best brain, compared to the fellows of his age, and his liver might be functioning better than ours.
I would say the opposite is true. Where if you have a high levels of NAD in your, systemically, and then you use NAD specifically for your skin, those actually will help each other.
Yeah.
Rather than expecting one to do the job of the other, there is a synergistic effect.
No, and that's why we also share all those tips and tricks how to boost your systemic NAD+, because in the end of the day, we're really not the people to say, you know what, the NAD Apex that we developed is going to help you. That's like the one all be all. That's what's going to be the miracles. You always have to do internal work.
So let me ask you, so how could maybe give us a quick protocol on how like an NAD centered approach would be?
Sure. So I think practice the 16 to 8 intermittent fasting schedule. Include 2 to 3 heat sessions plus sauna per week.
High intensity interval training.
And use topical enema formulation daily, such as anything with the NAD plus Apex by Young Goose.
Okay. Let's close it out. Give me your closing remarks.
So systemic NAD plus support is beneficial, but it doesn't directly improve the skin in most cases. Topical delivery, active ingredients, supplement on topicals. That's what I want to say. Where they're needed, which is your skin. They help restore elasticity, improve firmness, and accelerate regeneration much more efficiently than the internal methods.
Yeah, so if you're focused on visible skin improvements, topical NAD precursors should be your first focus as far as like boosting NAD. But anyway, if you found this episode helpful, consider leaving a review so Anastasia can read it on Apple Podcasts. It helps others find the show and support what we do.
By the way, I do read all of the reviews. So thank you so much. And so many of you left like beautiful reviews. Thank you.
I want to post a challenge here. I want you guys to review so much. Anastasia will fail in her mission to read all the reviews, and then I can bug her about it. Anyway, so...
well, you can submit questions anytime here on the podcast platform, wherever you're listening. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, we answer all of those questions. You can also send us DM on Instagram. That's another way to reach us. Our Instagram is young_goose_skincare. And that's all.
Young Goose.
Yes. And I will read your review. Just like I read in the beginning of this podcast.
So when you write it, just imagine Anastasia reading it. And be nice. Anyway.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you here next time.
See you. Bye.
Bye.